Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Co-op Podcast, episode 153. I'm your host, Richard Bailey Jr., and today I'm joined by Mr. Gary A. Swaby. What's up, Gary?
Hey, what's good? How you doing, Rich?
Doing excellent. Got some gaming in, so it's all good.
It's good.
And we're also joined by Mr. Michael A. How's it going, Michael A.?
Thanks for having me on. How's everybody out there doing this Sunday morning? Well, I'm in Cali, so it's almost afternoon for me, so it's probably afternoon for you guys on the East Coast as well. But yeah, I'm doing well. How you guys doing?
That's good. Well, hey, we're doing excellent. Just ready to talk about some games today. So we do have a lot of news topics this week, surprisingly. Before we get to that, of course, as it is always standard, we're going to let you all know what we've been playing. How about you go first, Gary? Let us know what you've been playing.
Oh, this is gonna be quick because I ain't played nothing all week. I did install Assassin's Creed Rogue because I never played that game, so I wanted to try it out, see how that game is. And I also pre-ordered The Division, the Gold Edition.
Whoa!
So yeah, I'm ready for The Division, man. I can't wait. March 8th, I'll be there.
Yeah. I see you went ahead and got the season pass too. Yeah, you definitely ready for this game then.
Yeah, man. I got high hopes for it now.
Well, let's just say this. I hope that this game lasts a lot longer than Destiny. A lot of people like to compare both games, so hopefully it does. And PC or PlayStation 4?
I got it on PC.
All right, so for those that are in the Coalition chat on PSN, now you can leave a lot of nasty comments for Gary because he decided to get the game for PC instead of PlayStation 4.
Speaking of PS4, I haven't even turned it on in like 3 weeks or something, or over a month maybe. I don't know. I haven't turned it on in a long time.
Whoa!
You really want to get hate? You really want people to hate you, don't you? You know who listens to the show, or not who listens to the show? Sorry. You know who comments in the forums or the threads? I'm sorry.
Yeah, who
Like
is it?
the people who comment, yeah, they're not going to like that. So prepare for hate.
Oh,
Well,
yeah, that's all good.
we'll see what happens.
I guess he decided to just, we'll see. How about you, Michael A? What have you been playing?
What have I been playing? Smite on PS4. I actually haven't played the Xbox version since I started the PS4 version, just because I have a lot of catching up to do, obviously, in terms of unlocking characters and stuff like that. And just giving feedback or whatnot, and spreading codes around, trying to get people to give the game a try. I've been waiting for Paragon. I want to get a Paragon code for PS4 so I can start that. I think that went live yesterday for PS4, and a couple people. One of my friends told me he got a code, so I'm just sitting here refreshing my email like a drug fiend, just hoping to get one because I really want to play that. Aside of that, Plants vs. Zombies 2, I've been playing that for a review. You can check out the site. The review will be up not too long from now, shortly. And that's it. I've been playing some Amplitude here and there whenever I'm just talking to people on PSN, and Warframe and stuff on Xbox, and I got a little bit of Air Mech Arena in as well. But yeah, that's it. And on my phone, I've been playing this game called Seven Nights, made by Netmarble. That's really, really dope. So that and Terror Battle. So yeah, that's about it.
Sounds good. I definitely I didn't know the Paragon beta already started, so I have to look into that also. But yeah, that's good to hear. Definitely got to check it out. As for what I've been playing, well, I actually played only one game over these last few days. I'm actually writing a review for right now. That is The Walking Dead Michonne, Episode 1. So if you've ever played a Telltale Walking Dead game, you have a very good idea of what to expect. Of course, it's just mainly focused on Michonne, the character, and story is interesting, but I also feel like the formula is a bit repetitive because when you talk about these games or in this world created by Robert Kirkman, it's pretty much the same. It's either zombies or you got to deal with some crazy people. And that's pretty much what you deal with in this particular episode. The action sequences are by far top-notch. It makes the character even more badass playing in those different scenarios. So I applaud them on that. Of course, the art style looks the same like all the other games and looks great. It does feel a lot shorter than episodes typically are because of the way they have the pacing with certain chapters. Some chapters are quicker than others, but it is a three-part miniseries. The other two episodes are going to be coming in the next 2 months. So, I'm very interested to see where they go with the story. I'm not going to talk about any spoilers on this show per se. I'll also try to keep the review a little spoiler free, but I will say if you are a fan of The Walking Dead and the character in particular, definitely should give it a try. The episode 1 is only $5, but if you want to buy the full season, 3 episodes is $15. I can say that I thought the first episode is good. I'm not going to say it's great because the story is still evolving. There's a lot of other things they have to introduce into, basically get you caught up to speed. But so far, I would say it's pretty good. I've played a lot of other games that I paid full price for that were absolutely horrible. So this is 20 times better than those games, but still not really quite at the level that you would want a Telltale game to be. So I'm hoping that episode 2 and 3 will get better over time. But definitely, if you're a fan, check it out. Only $5, so you can't really miss out with that.
Let me ask you a question though. Like, how much further do you think this Walking Dead craze can go? Like, because we've seen the same thing over and over with this series, even on the TV show and in the games. It's like, how many times can you see people form a group, then leave the group, get killed by a zombie, some evil villain come around and threaten the lives of everyone?
Mm-hmm.
How many times are we going to see the same concepts repeated in this world? Like,
especially if they're black.
Well, here's the thing. I think as long as people are invested in the world, they won't mind experiencing the same storylines. As I said, and I will admit, the formula is starting to get a little tiring for me because in this particular game, it is pretty much the same thing. Like if you ever played any of season 1 or 2, you come across characters, humans that are, they have horrible motives and they take lethal actions. That's pretty much what happens in this episode also. Now, there are zombies as well. They do try to change the scenery a little bit because you start out on a boat and, they have a sequence where you're going to land and you have zombies coming out the water attacking you, which I thought was like, okay, well, that was pretty funny to see that. But I just think as long as people are invested in the franchise, it's always going to be popular. But let me go ahead and say this right now. I did write an article about this, so people already know how I feel. These games are 20 times better than the TV show. I mean, I just have to go out there and say it because the TV show has not really killed off any major significant characters in quite a long time. Until Daryl gets killed off, or possibly Glenn, which may happen in not too distant future, then I'll be like, okay, but they haven't killed off any major characters. These little side characters, who cares about them? I don't. I want to see a main character get killed and shake the group to its very core. And that hasn't happened yet, but in these games, if you ever played Season 1, you already know what happens in Season 1. So, big difference between the both of them. But with that said, we'll see what happens. Definitely should check it out, though. It's still a fun game. Still fun to experience, but Telltale, I'm glad they're doing other stuff other than The Walking Dead because I want to see what they do with Batman later this year. Game of Thrones as well, so look forward to that. So that's pretty much all we've been playing for this week. We're going to jump right into the show because we have a couple of topics to discuss. So first and foremost, because you brought this up on the list, Gary, what are our thoughts on the Street Fighter V controversy? Would you care to elaborate as to what the controversy is with Street Fighter V? Because I haven't caught. I know about the pricing. A lot of people was complaining about the value, but enlighten us as to what the other issues are with Street Fighter V since it's launched.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of different things from people, but the main complaints seem to be that the game is launched and it's missing modes like the arcade mode and stuff like that, stuff that's always been in the Street Fighter game. And a lot of people aren't happy about that because it appears to be a game that's directed towards the tournament and the FGC players specifically. And I guess people aren't happy about that because it seems like more of a business move than a move to please gamers. And also there's been network issues as always. I guess a lot of people probably expected that to happen. I mean, you are dealing with PSN, so that's been one of the complaints I've been hearing as well. And that's why I'm glad Michael A is here today, because I know he's big on the FGC stuff. So I wanted to get his take on all of this. I know he hasn't actually got the game yet, but he's been following it very closely. He's been watching other players in the tournaments. So Mike, enlighten us on your thoughts, because I think we definitely need a more educated perspective on this whole Street Fighter 5 thing.
Yeah, no problem. The only reason I haven't got the game is because my boy Doug is mainly my fight stick from Chicago, so I'm waiting for that. And it's a 360 fight stick, so I have to get a converter. I'm getting the Brooks converter, which is tournament legal, and it's the only one that is tournament legal to my knowledge. The Cronus Max is not, because it has turbo capabilities and all this other stuff that a lot of people don't know about. So I'm definitely not like I'm passing on the game. I'm just waiting for my fight stick to come in, and that should be this week actually. Because he sent me shipping confirmation number and all that. But I have been following, I've been doing share play with my friends who have it already, and I can't play on the PS4 controller, so that's why I was like, yeah, I'll just wait. And I've been watching streams of it. I've been following all the tournaments and stuff like that. Honestly, in terms of the core game, it's a better game to me than Street Fighter 4 was. Just better balanced. The characters, even though they're only 16, only 16. That's actually a solid number to start off for a fighting game. The characters are all unique from each other, and all are viable. Even though there's already starting to be kind of this early game tier list, like that always happens, no character in the game is looked at as, oh, you can't win with this character. There's examples of people doing well with pretty much every character in the game. So that's good to see. That's something that's actually pretty difficult to achieve for a game for Street Fighter, because if you remember Street Fighter 4, that wasn't the case. It was 44 characters. You saw 8 of them, 10 maybe in tournaments, and that was about it, because the rest were just kind of meh. They were either meh or trash. So that's good. I really love the core mechanics and engine of this game. I'm still learning stuff like everyone else is. It's only been out for, what, 2 weeks? Technically, we're having our current first major for the game right now this weekend. Winter Brawl is happening over there in Philly. Big E is running out. Shout out to Big E. And that tournament's going great. It's actually going on right now. So you know what I was doing before this. You know what I'm doing at the same time as this. You'll know what I'll be doing after this. My take on the mission modes, I don't care, because who buys a fighting game to play story mode? That's not what you're buying it for. I mean, it's cool to be there, but nobody plays Street Fighter for the lore. You know what I mean? And when I say nobody, I mean the people who play Street Fighter and actually stick with it. Not the people who play Street Fighter and they're done with it after a month. Not the people who play and only go online here or there. No, because, I mean, to be honest with you, you people don't really help the scene very much. You buy the game and you're done with it. People trade it in or just don't play it anymore. So it wouldn't really be a good idea for them to come out and make decisions on the game based around them. They have to make it based on the core, because the core is who keeps the game alive and supports the game through DLC purchases and free publicity via tournaments and user-created content for years. That's part of the reason Street Fighter 4 lasted. Street Fighter 4 didn't last because of the casual market. It lasted because of the core. It didn't even make a comeback. The fighting game community didn't even make a comeback because of casuals. It made a comeback because of the core. People demanding, yo, we want tournaments. We're playing Third Strike. Give us another game. We're playing on Fightcade and all this other free software. We want you to release official games so we can support that. So I honestly don't see, think about it. You're gonna want the story mode. You're gonna play the story mode once, maybe twice, and then what? Go back to playing online against people. Go back. I mean, that's it. I don't understand what the big hoopla is, and it's not like it's never coming. It's coming. You just have to wait for it. So that's what I'm trying to understand. What people are saying with, oh, well, it was overpriced. So you'd rather they charge you $30 now and then $30 later when the story mode comes? That that doesn't make any sense. You're getting the content, you just have to wait. So they charged you 60 up front. Hell, the DLC characters that are coming, you don't even have to pay for them. You can unlock them with in-game currency. Guess how you get in-game currency? By playing the game. So it's really simple. The people who are actually sitting down and playing online and playing and trying to level themselves up will have the in-game currency to buy the new characters. The first one, Alex, I think is coming at the end of March, actually, which isn't that far away. So, I mean, I just don't understand it personally.
Wait,
I
let
get that.
me ask you a
Well,
question though,
Go
because
ahead, go ahead.
that's another complaint I heard, that you can unlock some of the characters with the in-game currency, but people were saying that it's going to take way too much time for that to
mhm.
happen, like an
Grind.
unbelievable amount of time.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
have to grind, but I mean that's how a lot of companies do. Like even free to play games, like they'll have it where you have to do that. So I don't see what the problem is with that, honestly.
I do have another thing that I would like to bring up, but Gary, I hope I wasn't interrupting you or Michael A. Did you about to say something else, Gary?
Oh no, go ahead. Yeah,
Okay, I was gonna say this. I think I can explain why people were a little bit angry. Um, I can understand that with Street Fighter, they're trying to do something new with the cross-play, in that the story doesn't really matter quite as much because they already said that there's more story content coming later. But we'll take somebody whose video who I saw, which has generated quite a bit of controversy, Mr. Hip Hop Gamer. Um, a lot of the comments I saw in that video was people said that this was a $60 game, but then they're like, well, wait a second. There was a game that came out last year, $60 game that had a hell of a lot more content, and it was a fighting game, Mortal Kombat X, that had a story, it had modes, it had a lot of stuff. So a lot of people figured, they looked at that and they said, well, that is a great framework for the type of game we're going to be expecting for a fighting game that's $60. So when they look at that and then they look at Street Fighter, they're like, well, yeah, this needs more stuff. So I believe
But
that is one reason why people was complaining.
but
Oh
see,
no,
that's
go.
because they're not looking big picture there. Mortal Kombat X, yes, it did that, but Mortal Kombat X was multi-platform. Mortal Kombat X wasn't had a longer development time than Street Fighter Five. Like
Mhm.
it was being developed since last gen. On top of that, it doesn't have cross play between two different platforms. Street Fighter Five, you can play against PC people streamlessly. You can't do that in Mortal Kombat. In fact, the PC version of Mortal Kombat X is in such bad state that they don't even support it anymore. NetherRealm has completely abandoned it. The new version of the game that's coming with the improved online and the new multiple characters, the
Yeah.
PC version of the game ain't getting it because it's horrible. It doesn't work. NetherRealm outsourced the game. They don't know how to fix it. They gave the middle finger to the PC market. But for some reason they get a pass on that because story mode? Like that's stupid. The core of the game on PC doesn't work. Those people paid $60. Why is that okay?
That's a good
Because
point.
the modes are there, but the core of the game doesn't work. You can't play online. It doesn't even run at a stable 60 frames per second, which for a fighting game is mandatory because you don't know what moves are safe or unsafe if the frame rate is jumping all over the place. Like it's a bad product on PC, and that's cool. But Capcom focusing on the core and the fundamentals and building from there, trying to make sure that the game works. And I know there was online problems, and that was inexcusable. But then again, what game hasn't launched this gen that hasn't had online problems from jump? That's just kind of the standard, unfortunately. That's an issue that's not just Capcom related. That's an issue that's gaming related for this generation, and it needs to be addressed as we go forward. Obviously, as online is going to become more and more important to games. But like, really, I understand that Mortal Kombat came with all this stuff, but look what Mortal Kombat's doing now. It shipped with an online mode that was bad. People, the core of Mortal Kombat community, the FGC heads, the tournament goers, the content creators, the streamers were complaining, we can't play this game online because it's horrible. So what did they do? They released a new online for Mortal Kombat X that they just had in beta. It's coming out next month when they release Mortal Kombat XL. So basically, they released Mortal Kombat, and then a year later, they're releasing the game with the Neo DLC characters and an online that actually works. and people are okay with that because at least it came with story mode. That's ass backwards. You would want you don't. That'd be like going into a house and saying, "Well, sure, the foundation of the house is crappy, but it has nice windows." Like, no, that doesn't make any sense. You want the foundation to be set and working properly first. So while I'm not excusing Capcom for the path they're taking, I see what they're doing in picture. It's you paid $60 up front. You within a couple months you will have all the content that people are complaining about not having. They delayed having trials in the game because they didn't want it to be like Street Fighter 4 trials where there were combos that just weren't practical for gameplay. They want you to go through the trials and actually learn how to do the combos that core players are doing. They want you to be able to learn how to play the game on that level. Um, what else was it? The amount of time you have to grind for the free characters. I mean, okay, there. No one that I've seen playing the game on stream doesn't have enough to get Alex already. Just going through the survival mode, they have enough to get the first character already. Easy. So I don't really see the issue. And you can go through the survival mode with every character to unlock colors for every character. You'd have more than enough to get these characters. What are people saying that, oh, it takes time? Yeah, it takes time. You have to play the game to be rewarded. You want them to just give you stuff in the game just to give it to you? Like, that doesn't really make sense. Even back in the day when you were unlocking these characters, you had to do something astronomical, like beat the entire campaign without taking damage or without losing a round or something like that. They never just said, "Oh, we'll give you the character because." Like, no, you have to put in the work. You got to grind. Like, retail and free-to-play games do the same thing. I don't see how that's even an issue. People complaining that they have to put in time to unlock characters for free in Street Fighter 4 and 5, those are just people complaining for the sake of complaining, because that doesn't make any sense. I have to play the game to unlock characters for free. Yeah, I mean, you could give up $2 to $3 for it too, but I mean, really, what's the issue? I don't get that. Like I said, I'm not sitting here saying Street Fighter 5 is perfect. It's not. But for people to say that, like, this is a bad release or this is a game that's not aimed at casuals. You're right, it's not aimed at casuals. Fighting games generally aren't aimed at casuals. It's a niche genre. It's always been a niche genre. It's aimed at the hardcore core people because those are the people that matter. Those are the people that support the game longer than the 1 to 3 months down the pipeline. Fighting games can't survive factoring in casuals. They've tried that before, and when they did that, I'll give an example. There was a fighting game that people probably know of, Capcom vs. SNK 2. They brought that game to Xbox, and I think there was a PS2 version of it, and then they re-released it as Capcom vs. SNK 2 EO. The EO stood for Easy Operations. What that meant was that you used the right thumbstick on your PS2 or Xbox controller and your GameCube controller, because it was on GameCube as well, to do moves. Instead of actually inputting them like people and using skill, you just tap the right thumbstick. Who wants to do that? Like, where's the skill in that?
Yeah.
Nobody played that game. Like, that game died. Like, no one played that game in tournaments, and the casual dropped it in 3 months.
Well,
Capcom poured lots of money into it. They lost lots of money on that. Bad times ahead for Capcom. Then they released all these other simpler fighting games like Capcom Fighting Jam and all that, and nobody wants to play that stuff because the core is like, yeah, we're not playing that. This isn't shooting games. This isn't, you know what I mean? This isn't. You have to appeal to them. You have to appeal to the core. If you don't like that, I'm going to say something that's controversial to you. You probably shouldn't be playing fighting games anyway.
oh, whoa,
Point blank.
whoa! It's controversial. Yes, that is.
If you bought Mortal Kombat because you like the story and that's it, I
No.
don't know what to tell you.
Yeah,
Like, who buys Call of Duty for the campaign and the campaign alone? Like, I don't know anybody that does that. They're releasing a Call of Duty version of the game that doesn't even have campaign. It's just going to be multiplayer on Steam, I believe. Then they just announced that like 2 weeks ago or something like that.
I know that version was on the the 360 and PS3.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and sold like gangbusters. Sold better than they sold better than full retail games. Just the multiplayer of Call of Duty. I mean, there's people that because that's the core. That's what people are buying. That's what they're playing the game for. I forgot the percentage of people who didn't even finish the campaign and called it was something stupid low. I'm like, come on, man. Let's just be honest. Like, if you like if Street Fighter isn't for you, that's cool. I'm not saying that
So,
everybody in the world should like the game or whatever like that. I get that, it's a very polarizing genre of game. I get that. But
well,
to like complain about stuff that anyone else who plays fighting games isn't complaining about. Like, nah. The only legitimate issue I've seen people complain about was the online issues in the beginning. And that's legitimate because you couldn't play online. It was bad. The
well,
first
well,
week, unforgivable. Capcom, they needed to apologize for that, which they did actually.
well, hold on a second. Well, wait a second though. The beta already foreshadowed that there would be those type of issues, so they had to
That is true as
expect
well.
that
That
this
is
is going
true
to
as
be.
well.
So it's. I mean, I don't think that the game is. I don't think that the game is bad. I haven't heard anyone say the game is horrible. They just wish that there's more content, and they have to be patient to wait for that content at this point. That's all it is. Um, that's the main thing.
It
Uh,
would be one thing if I'm sorry to interrupt you. It'd be one thing. This would be my final point. It'd be one point thing if they released the game and they didn't tell you that this stuff wasn't going to be in the game. People knew months before the game came out that they were releasing the game with this release model. There's going to be modes and some stuff that's just not there, but we'll be giving it to you for free in the foreseeable future. And by foreseeable future, by June, you'll have everything that's supposed to be in the game. They're
mhm.
releasing stuff before then, but by June, all the stuff that you're complaining about not being there will be in the game. We know that they released the game as it is because they wanted to set up the timetable for the tournament schedule throughout the year, not just for the immediate tournaments this month, but we're talking for the Capcom Pro Tour, we're talking for Evo, and this isn't even just America. This is international tournaments as well. DreamHack over in Europe, Southeast Asian majors, and I'm not sure where. I think that's taking place in Korea this year, like so on and so forth. That's huge. That's international. That's lots of money. That's lots of gamers around the globe affected by this. And these are the people that are going to be determining how you play the game. They're going to be releasing content to show you how to play the game. So, I mean, that's why they did this. It wasn't a secret, but going. If you bought that game expecting this stuff to be there and it wasn't, I could see you being upset. But they tell you something's not there, you buy it, it's not there, and then you complain. You buy a car, they tell you, oh, this is the base model. It doesn't have the stereo in it. We'll throw in the stereo. We'll mail that to you in a month. You buy that car, you get home, then you complain that there's no stereo in the car. Who's silly in that scenario? They told you up front, and I don't understand. Like, you're acting like you were hoodwinked or robbed or something. No, they
Yeah.
told you it was going to be this way. You bought it anyway, and then you're complaining. You people just don't want to be happy. I guess that's what it is. You just want to complain. I don't know what to tell you. That's all I got on that. Anything? I don't know what you guys got to add to that.
Oh no. Well, I was just going to say that I agree. I was going to say something. Gary, did you want to make a statement first, or you good?
No, I was just gonna say, I do agree with a lot of that. I don't have the game. I haven't, played it yet. So I was unable to form my own opinion on it. I was just listening to what other people were saying. So it's good to hear the other side of things from someone who, is part of the FGC and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's all I have
I
to say.
and I just was going to add that I do agree with a lot of what was said. I also have not purchased the game yet. I will play it at some point. I just didn't make it a priority because there's a lot of other things that I'm getting ready for. But to keep in with this theme of transparency, before we jump to the next topic, I have to ask this question because we didn't put it on the agenda. So what do you guys think of Capcom re-releasing Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6 as they announced that they plan to do within the next couple of months?
Oh, yeah, I heard about that. I have no opinion on that whatsoever because I'm not a big fan of that series. So,
Well, there you go. How about you, Michael A? Any thoughts?
My thoughts were, why would you re-release Resident Evil 6 by itself? The game wasn't like it wasn't too long ago that it came out. People can go buy it used, and a lot of Resident Evil fans. I mean, I honestly didn't mind Resident Evil 6, but a lot of Resident Evil fans hate Resident Evil 6.
Yeah.
So don't expect a whole lot of sales on that re-release or remaster or whatever they're doing with it. If they were smart, they would have released Resident Evil 4 by itself, and then you would have bundled 5 and 6 together. That's what you do, because no one's buying 6 by itself. I don't even think that many people will be buying 5. They'll probably buy 4, and that's it. Now, this seems like a money grab to me, because they could have honestly put all 3 of those games together. They really could have done that. I'm not sure if they're doing this to prepare people for a possible Resident Evil 7, which I hope is happening, because I am a fan of the Resident Evil franchise.
Hmm.
And I'm not to me, I'm not like the people who want it to go back to Resident Evil 1 through 3, because those controls were archaic and horrible. And no, they weren't doing that to add to the suspense and fear. They were doing it because they didn't know how else to make that damn game. Let's be honest. So my favorite ones are 4 and Code Veronica. So personally, and I know it's biased, I would like them to go back to that vein where they still have solid enough controls, especially with 4, but they still have that sense of survival. Because it needs to go back to being. It's not even the horror, because you can't really scare people anymore. It's the survival aspect that was lacking in 6. You didn't feel like you just were that limited on resources, especially when you were playing the campaign as Chris. Because you were full military gear. You had an M16 grenade launcher. That's not survival. I'm walking around like with the force of the U.S. Army behind me. That's not survival. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I want them to go back to the roots for that. But I assume they're doing this prepares for a new Resident Evil game, which is fine by me. I just wish that they'd thought it out, because re-releasing Resident Evil 6 by itself you're just going to lose money on that. And they did. I don't know how no one at that table, when they made the decision, said, guys, we should probably not re-release Resident Evil 6 by itself, even 5, because a lot of people don't like these games, and I think it's going to underperform again for us. But I guess they got overshadowed. I don't know. When I read that, they were all individual. I'm like, yeah, you people like losing money. So you people will buy 4, and that's it. That's what's going to happen. You'll see me playing 4. You won't see me replaying 6. Unless that shit's bundled with other games, no, I'm not buying 6 again. I'm good. And I don't even hate 6, but no.
Let me just say I do agree with what you said. Resident Evil 6, I also wasn't too bothered by 6. I know we have a couple of individuals on staff, Mr. Tony Polanco, for example. They thought 6 was horrible. But let me just say this, Resident Evil 6, okay, last time I checked, 666 means hell, so that meant that this game could have been a disaster. And for some, I guess it was. So there you go. Let's move on to the next topic, shall we? And speaking of raising hell, there was a little bit of controversy raised this week, along the lines of something that Naughty Dog was involved in. Now, let me go ahead and say this right now, because we have to set this up correctly, okay? The night before, Naughty Dog teased that there was going to be a major announcement for Uncharted the following day. So we get to the next day, and it's a story trailer for Uncharted 4, A Thief's End. So I had a look at the trailer. Everybody had a look at the trailer. It looked absolutely fantastic. However, there were some people that looked at the trailer a little bit harder, saw that there was some art used from Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and then proceeded to go in on Naughty Dog, talking all types of trash, pretty much. So, Naughty Dog did eventually fix that by releasing another video, and they released an apology. But I wanted to ask you guys, what did you think of the reactions that we got towards this news? Whether it was a big deal or, because I saw a lot of people, a lot of Xbots in particular, that tried to use this as a motive to attack Naughty Dog, possibly because they're still not over Quantum Break, but I don't know. But what do you guys think? How about you go first, Gary?
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious, to be honest. Like, just the fact that there's assets from Assassin's Creed Black Flag in Uncharted, and the comment that the guy made that worked on Black Flag was hilarious, because he said, "Oh, I guess this is what it means to be, a thief." Because of the name of Uncharted, the thieves stuff. So yeah, that was hilarious. I mean, Manny on the throwdown, Manny broke it down as an artist, and he said that sometimes when you're creating these projects, you use temporary artwork. So like you might get something just from Google as a placeholder kind of thing. So I guess it kind of slipped through the cracks a bit. Like they didn't realize it was still there. They planned to change it. So, I give them the benefit of the doubt on that, that maybe they were supposed to change it and they just missed it or something. But that is kind of hilarious, and it's funny that it actually made it to the final trailer. As for the people's reactions, clearly people are still a little salty over the Quantum Break coming to PC, and they're looking for any reason to jump on Sony, and because people were trying to say to boycott the game and stuff like that, right? They were saying people should boycott the game.
That what boycott Uncharted or Quantum Break?
Uncharted, like they were saying because of that artwork being in the trailer that people should boycott the game. They shouldn't buy it. Like it's just a trailer. Like come on now, that's a bit that's a bit dramatic right there. Like just boycotting the game just because it's some artwork.
But see, two things. First and foremost, if that is in fact true what they were saying, first and foremost, they don't even have an interest in the game because it's on PlayStation. So why would anybody listen to what they have to say on that matter? And number two, I do agree what Manny said on the throwdown is accurate. He's 100% accurate with that. Only reason why I would say is it's a little ridiculous and silly is because everybody on Naughty Dog was talking about we got this major thing we're showing tomorrow. So they had to know in advance that this had to be on point from top to bottom. Maybe they just figured, well, nobody will see that. But you got to know when you're advertising that this is going to be like major reveal, you have to know that it has to be solid because everybody will criticize if they see something that they didn't like. I thought the trailer was fantastic. I didn't really notice the artwork until I saw people complaining after the fact about, hey, yeah, what's this doing in the game? I thought it was great, though. And the trailer looks fantastic. And hell yes, I'm getting that day one. Just like any gamer should that actually enjoys games and is not showing favoritism to just one console. But what do you think, Michael A?
Honestly, I didn't really care. I'm not really sure why this is a big deal. I mean, like you said, man, he broke it down. I assumed it was a placeholder. I didn't notice it. I want to know who the neckbeard is that noticed the artwork in the first fucking place. What are you doing with your life?
He worked on Black Flag. That's why he worked on that.
I mean, my God. Even still, like, it wasn't like it took up an. How do you notice that? Like, I went back and watched it. I'm like, yep, I'm sorry, not seeing it. I don't care. And I mean, I'm not like super hyped for Uncharted, and the trailer didn't impress me that much, honestly. I mean, the game looks like it's going to be solid, though. I'm still going to play it. So I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that I'm not getting it. Now I'm playing the game just because I need something to play on PS4, and I promise people I play it. But that artwork being in the trailer does nothing. Like, it doesn't. Like, the fact that you're telling me that there's people, and I've heard of some people, because I think Tony broke it down to me too, that there were people. I didn't know there were people arguing that the game needs to be boycotted. That's like, what? Shut up. But he told me that there were people who were making a big deal about it, and I didn't really understand it. Like, this isn't even the first time we've seen this in gaming. Like, we've seen it where, like, I remember, I think it was, it's happened a couple times with racing games where they'll accidentally use stock footage of other racing games in their, and picture ads or something like that. Why? Because racing games have gotten to a point of photorealism that's so close that they're starting to even look the same. So, I mean, and yeah, people were like, oh, it's an image, oh, big deal. Like, no, it isn't, because you still went and bought the game. So who cares? I don't think this is going to impact Uncharted sales at all. And it shouldn't impact Uncharted sales at all, because this has nothing to do with your experience playing the game. Not to mention, Naughty Dog immediately addressed it. They took the trailer down, then put it back up with the artwork changed. I think it's a sad place in gaming where this is a big deal. Like, there's real stuff going on in gaming that people should be worrying about. You guys are going to worry about this? Artwork, background artwork, not even artwork of the game, background artwork in one area of a trailer for a game. Like, I'm mad I just spoke about this for 2 minutes. I'm mad at myself.
Yeah, well,
you know what? You know what though? Like those people that are saying people should boycott Uncharted 4, they shouldn't even worry because like PlayStation users don't buy games anyway, so the game isn't gonna sell as much as it
Whoa,
should.
whoa,
Okay, all right. You really want people to hate you. Like
no,
I
no,
see that.
no. No. They'll, no, no. This is, obviously one of. I mean, this is, in my opinion, the premier Sony exclusive. It sells consoles. Case in point, PS3. When Uncharted 3 came out, 2, all these games sold extremely well on the system, and a lot of people bought this system just for those games. So this game is definitely going to sell extremely well.
I agree.
I just think, yeah, too much controversy made about nothing. But I will tell you one thing. I definitely am looking forward to picking up Uncharted 4 Black Flag when it comes out in April. Because, hey, it's going to be awesome. And listen, Black Flag was a good game. I did not finish it. What I played of the game was great. So, I mean, this is going to be an even better game. So I have no other complaints. I just look forward to playing it. So,
Uh, Apparently, Naughty Dog has done this before as well. I think somebody made reference to there being some copyrighted artwork in The Last of Us, I think it was, and they had to take that out.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
well, it was.
That's what I was saying earlier. Like this isn't like. I mean, not even. I mean, yeah, they've done. Naughty Dog's done it before, but that's what I'm saying. This isn't a problem exclusive to them. This is something that's happened in games for years. Like it's just you use placeholder work or something looks similar enough to something you've done and you use it by accident, and it's always immediately addressed with an apology, and then they take down whatever it is and replace it. So I mean, I really don't understand how you could go from they accidentally used artwork and a piece of art in the museum theme on Uncharted to boycott this game. Like, why? I don't understand. I don't get it. I really don't. I'm tempted to go Uncharted fanboy just to combat their stupidity. That's really dumb.
Yeah. Well, any final thoughts on this topic before we move to the next one?
nah, that's pretty much it.
Okay,
Buy
so
Uncharted 4.
yes, make sure you buy Uncharted 4 Black Flag in April. It's going to be awesome.
Stop calling.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
may sound like a hater, but yeah, I'm excited for the game.
No, the game is going to be fantastic. All jokes aside, I look forward to it. So, from one topic to the next, let's talk about a game that many people says it would not exist without Uncharted, since they copied a lot of the things that have to do with the mechanics of how you play the game. Rise of the Tomb Raider. It was reported this week that the game has now sold 3 times as many copies on PC than Xbox One, which isn't really surprising. But what do you guys think about that? How about you go first, Gary?
It's not surprising to me because I mean, when it released on Xbox One, it was the same day as Fallout 4, which was probably one of the biggest releases of last year. So the odds were against the game anyway. And on PC, I guess it's releasing in a window where there's not much new stuff out at the moment, and I think a lot of people were waiting to play it on PC anyway, just because the game looks so amazing. So it's obviously going to look fantastic on PC. I'm one of those people too. I haven't bought the game yet, but I definitely plan to. I just got paid, so I'm gonna buy that for sure in the next couple of days. So it's no surprise really that it's selling fast on PC, and I think in general PC like the user base is for gamers is really going up nowadays. Like I think more and more people are getting into PC gaming and realizing the value in it, and I think it's become more accessible to people. There's information everywhere on how to build a PC or how to get one built for you, the right parts you need, the graphic cards and stuff that come out. Like it's not hard to get into PC gaming at all. And if you've got money to spend on $60 games like back to back every month, like you can save up some money to buy a PC, and you'll save money on the actual games you buy in the long term. So I think people are starting to see the value proposition of PC gaming. So I think this trend is going to continue.
I agree. Um, I want to say something real quick, and then I'm going to let Michael A give his thoughts. So, seeing as how it sold 3 times as much on the PC, I'm going to give you 3 reasons why this happened. Number one, to piggyback off of what you said, yes, the game came out the same day Fallout 4 came out, and that was one of the most anticipated games last year. Um, Number two, Microsoft really didn't really market this game because I didn't see any marketing that was like out there front and center for me to be like, oh yeah, this game is coming out. Because a lot of people who I know, they were surprised the game was out. They're like, we started playing Fallout, then they started playing all these other games. Oh, Tomb Raider, that's out already? Yeah, it's out. So Microsoft really didn't market this better, and considering that they paid for it to be a holiday exclusive, they really should have done a better job marketing and getting it out there to try and get people's interest. And the third point is that Microsoft, just like you said earlier, Gary, that PlayStation fans don't buy PlayStation exclusives. While I disagree with that, I will say that Xbox fans, some of them ain't buying the exclusives. Because case in point, again, a lot of people didn't know Tomb Raider was out. Then even when they know Tomb Raider is out, they still ain't bought it. Sunset Overdrive, a game that came out back in 2014, a lot of people didn't give that game a chance. And I would argue that a lot of games that people just just played and they just were intending to buy and never bought. We do have Chris on the throwdown who was planning to play Halo 5. He still hasn't played it, and he's a huge Halo fan. So I think it's a true point that and that's not the fault of the gamer. It is the fault of how Microsoft doomed themselves from the beginning when they talked about the Xbox One in the first place. They were presenting this to focus only on entertainment, not so much games, and they are still recovering from that. As a result, a lot of people still think that their messaging is still off, even though things have changed. To the normal everyday consumer, it hasn't changed. They remember how they presented themselves in the beginning, and then that's why they're not supporting the software now. So I believe all 3 of those factors played into why the game didn't sell well on Xbox. I actually have an article of this on the website now if you haven't checked it out. So I'll probably throw a link in that of that in this post later. But yeah, I mean, all of that said, I'm not surprised it sold better on PC. I am glad that the game is getting seen, and it's also going to sell very well on PlayStation 4 as well, because it deserves to sell well, because it's a great game. Everybody should be playing it. But how about you, Michael A? Any thoughts?
I am not shocked. The Tomb Raider shouldn't have came out when it came out. Tomb Raider should have launched in January or February. That's the honest truth. Microsoft that was the dumbest decision they got, to go get a time exclusive game like that and release it in that window when it had no chance, like at all, because of the hype chain. You're going up against a Star Wars backed game and the Fallout game that was hyped beyond belief. You're not beating that. It's not happening. And I won't even know. I can't even say that people don't buy Xbox exclusives, because some Xbox One exclusives haven't done well. But the best-selling console exclusive this generation is still Halo 5. So I mean, they have one. I mean, albeit it is Halo, so obviously, and even that didn't sell as well as it could have. But it's still the best-selling console exclusive this generation. I just don't think console exclusives are selling that much overall anymore. Anyway, I really don't think so. Which is probably for the best, because I personally want us to move to a point where we have cross-play and whatnot between platforms and consoles, and we're starting to see that. So I hope that comes. But yeah, Tomb Raider should not have come out when it did. It should have come out. I honestly think it should have came out middle January, when there was nothing else, and that would have been huge for Microsoft. But no, they put it out when it did, and they left it there to get slaughtered. Also, I mean, and also it only helped the PC market. A, more people are able to game on their PCs now. B, people saw the critical reviews of Tomb Raider on Xbox. It got nothing but raving, amazing reviews. Mm-hmm. So when those people who don't have Xboxes saw that and realized, oh, well, I can just wait 2-3 months and get it on my PC for cheaper, why would I buy an Xbox for that? I can just play it on my PC for cheaper. So that's what they went and did, and it's selling very well. I hope the sales continue to do well on PC. Um, I'm going to be curious to see how well that game sells on PS4, because if I see a whole bunch of people buy that game on PS4, I'm gonna laugh at them. A, because those people clearly don't have gaming PCs like they've been saying that they had for the longest. So all those, oh, I'll just get Quantum Break on PC. I'm like, well, why didn't you get Tomb Raider on PC when it came out like 9 months ago? I call bullshit. And B, it's like, and this is gonna sound controversial to say, but those people who say games really drive them to buy what they buy. It's like you have a game that you clearly wanted, that's clearly of value, and you had two opportunities to get it earlier, and you passed on them just to wait for it to come to your console. Like what, a year later? I mean, I'm not calling you a fanboy, but you know, if it quacks like a duck and looks like a duck, it's not a cow. You know. Personally, I am. But yes, I think that it's logical and expected for it to sell better on PC or sell at a faster rate. I don't think it's eclipsed the total sales on Xbox yet. It's just selling at a better rate. So I mean, I'm assuming that it will clearly sell better on PC than it will on than it did on Xbox. But yeah, that's in large part due to a lot of things that Rich was saying. Microsoft kind of still recovering from some of the mistakes they made. Not even them as a company. Well, I guess them as a company, because they did hire the dude. It's that one dude that pretty much doomed them from the start. And we've seen what he's done with other companies, because look what he did with Zynga. Like, they're gone. Like, everywhere he goes, he ruins. He is a Anyway, yeah, that's a different topic. They're still recovering from that. And like I said, that release window for that game was stupid. It had no business coming out then. And the thing is, the game was ready way before then too. They could have released it in August. You know, like why? I don't know what their motivation was for that. I don't get it. Hell, Fallout sold amazing on the Xbox. So it's not even that people are buying it on other consoles. On your own console, people are buying Fallout at alarming rates. What did you think was going to happen? And Star Wars, they dropped the ball on that release date. So. But I mean, hey, it's a good game. I say go get it, especially if you have a gaming PC, which I'm seeing a lot, and I am seeing a lot of people that are close to me now have gaming PCs. So like Tony and whatnot. And I know Charles has had one for a minute, so I wanted to see them play the game. So that's cool that they get to play it out, try it out, and it'll be the best version of it, even when it comes to PS4. I'm sorry, PC version will be the best. So hold that. But yeah, I think it makes sense.
All right, so I'm just gonna make a final comment about this topic, a final statement, if you will. Bold prediction: I think the game is going to sell better on PlayStation 4 than both PC and Xbox. Why I say that is because this Tomb Raider start out as a PlayStation title? And there's a lot of people,
PlayStation 1.
You know, there's a lot of people who said that they won't purchase Tomb Raider.
Wait, it was on PC too in the beginning too. I think it was on no, it was on PlayStation first, and then came to PC later. You're right. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, and there's a lot of people who said, I know people who own PlayStation said, "Oh, I'm not buying the game because it's on Xbox." That's BS. By the time this game comes out and is on PlayStation, I'm pretty sure they will purchase it. So I do believe that's what's going to end up happening, but we'll see later this year whenever the game drops. I guess sometime in the fall, to be determined.
Question for you though.
Yeah.
Do you think Uncharted will impact the sales of Tomb Raider on PS4?
That's a good question.
No way.
I honestly
no.
People will stop buying Uncharted by then. Like they would have stopped buying Uncharted by then.
Well,
I mean,
Uncharted.
that's possibly true, but the reason I was asking, because I was just thinking, like, since there's this mindset of people that I mean, the two games have influenced each other. There wouldn't be an Uncharted without Tomb Raider, and Tomb Raider wouldn't have grown to what it became now without the success and the work that Uncharted has done, and its absence. So like they kind of, you know, their franchises, they're to the point now are pretty dependent on each other. Hell, I wouldn't be shocked if in sometime in the future we see a crossover game, which would be awesome. But what I was asking is because I figure I'm expecting Uncharted to do amazing for PS4, like sales wise, review wise, playability wise. Because I mean, a lot of people did dig the multiplayer, actually, the multiplayer beta. That I didn't get to partake in the Uncharted 4 multiplayer beta, so I can't judge it myself. And I've never been a fan of Uncharted multiplayer, but people were swearing that this one's amazing. So maybe this will be the game where like people are playing this for a long extended period of time. So I'm thinking, I mean, Uncharted comes out what in April? We're assuming that we're gonna get Tomb Raider holiday season this year. I mean, there's a gap there, but it's a big enough gap that Uncharted might have some influence, right? Or am I crazy?
Well, I mean, I think Uncharted's going to sell extremely well, and that will be the top dog. I have to believe that will carry them well into the summer, and but they have other games that will be coming out in the fall. We don't know yet if Horizon Zero Dawn is coming out, so I don't really know what their fall lineup looks like right now. I only know that they said that Tomb Raider will be out in November. I don't think now, just to be clear, to answer the question specifically, I don't believe that Tomb Raider will ever outsell Uncharted because this Uncharted is the better of the two, in my opinion. But I believe that it is going to sell well for them. It just won't outsell Uncharted. Won't do Uncharted numbers because you got to think about it this way: Uncharted, they're also selling bundles for that Uncharted 4. And even though those sales may not count on MPD, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to get that Uncharted 4 bundle. Hell, I thought about buying that console, but nah, I'm not going to do that. But yeah, that's my answer.
Yeah.
What do you say, Gary?
Yeah, I know. I actually know someone who's selling their PS4 to get that Uncharted bundle. So I think that's gonna do really well, the bundle.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, but yeah, I agree. I think Tomb Raider will sell really well on PS4 when it comes out, because obviously it's the dominant console at the moment. And I don't know. Yeah, I think it will sell more than it will sell on PC. Yeah, so it will probably be the highest selling version, but the
yeah.
PC version will still be the better version.
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah. Well, hey, no arguments there. Um, so that's pretty much it for this topic. Unless you guys have anything else to add,
No.
we're good. All right, this next topic I'm gonna let you, Gary, and Michael A discuss because I don't have a 3DS. And I am no longer interested in the Pokemon franchise. So let's go ahead and let's discuss it. But pretty much, there was a report that came out that 3DS sales are starting to decrease. And the question is posed of, can Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon save the device from becoming irrelevant? So, Gary, how about you answer your own question first, and Michael A, you can go afterwards.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can't speak for every 3DS owner, of course, but because Pokemon is pretty much the only game I play on 3DS anyway. So of course, I'm looking forward to this, and this is gonna make me pick up my 3DS again. So I was actually delighted to hear there was a new Pokemon coming, so I'm happy about that. But I mean, the 3DS has had a great run already, and of course, after a while, a platform is going to lose steam, because new technology is coming out and new system requirements for games and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure the NX is going to be doing some pretty amazing stuff. So it's only natural that the 3DS sales are going to dip slightly. But I do think that once this Pokemon game does come out, people are going to be like buying them like crazy again, just because Pokemon has that power. It's a system seller. So I guess that's good for Nintendo. What do you think, Mike?
I mean, I don't know. I'm not a Pokemon fan, so I have zero care about Pokemon. I will never understand people's fascination with it. I gave Pokemon a try with Y, and I was just like, yeah, this is dull. I'm not doing this again. So I can't speak on Pokemon. Fire Emblem just dropped, and that's doing well. So I think that's gonna get some sales for them. Honestly, mobile gaming has finally started to catch up. I mean, that's just a fact. But I don't think the 3DS is going to become irrelevant. No. The only way that would happen is if Nintendo let that happen, and I wouldn't put that past them because they've kind of done that with hardware before. My biggest issue with them would be I know that the NX is supposed to have some takeaway mobile department, so if they do that, that means that I guess the 3DS would become irrelevant, and that would be Nintendo's doing, and that'd be unfortunate. But no, I think the 3DS is still able to do fine if it just comes out if they come out with quality titles over the course of time like they've been doing as of late. Actually, surprisingly, because Project Cross Zone 2 is out now as well.
Mhm.
I think they'll be fine. But I mean, in all honesty, in terms of the mobile device market that's just for gaming, they don't have any competition anymore anyway. So it's just them, which is probably why they don't care because it's just them right now. They've already made tons of money on the 3DS brand. They're still making tons of money off of it because now the games and the hardware all sell for pure profit for them. It doesn't cost them anything to make that stuff anymore, essentially. So I mean, yeah, I don't know that Nintendo is in trouble in the mobile area anyway. I don't think they are struggling to stay relevant. I think it's just an issue with them being smart with the position that they're in there. Easily transitioning into something that can become a hybrid with mobile phone devices, which are becoming more and more prevalent for gaming. So either Nintendo partnering with like a Samsung or somebody, or making their own phone, which they should have done a long time ago. I don't know why they haven't done that. I mean, you could literally just Nintendo has enough pull with software and with fans that they literally could just release like an N-Gage like project and it would actually do well. They should have probably done that 5 years ago. So I would be shocked to hear something about that from them now. But then again, they're already working with Android to make some games come over. So I don't know. It's they're in a good position, but they're in a position that the only one that can mess up is themselves. And that's usually an amazing thing. But with Nintendo's recent track record, like the last 10 years, that's not building a lot of confidence with me because they've kind of messed up a lot of stuff. So I wouldn't be shocked if they did that too. I don't know. I've given up trying to defend Nintendo a couple months ago, so I honestly don't even care. I really don't. But more power to them. That Fire Emblem game, I'm not. I'm getting it, but I'm not getting it here. I'm importing that because I want the non-censored version. I want the version where I can play how the game's supposed to be, and not how certain people tell me that I should be able to play the game. So I'm gonna get that version. But yeah, um,
Wait,
I don't know. I don't know.
why is that game censored?
That's a whole different tangent. They took out certain elements of the game because they figured some people would complain that it's like you could pet someone's face and build like favor, and they were like, "Oh, you can't do that. That's the meaning." I'm like, "How? What the hell is that the meaning to?
Are
Like,
you
why do you?"
serious?
Yeah, it's stupid stuff like that. I'm just getting the original version of the game. I prefer to get the game as developers want it to be made, and not as people pressure them in the West to make the game. Like that's stupid to me, so I'm gonna get that. But so
People are stupid.
I've heard nothing but or good things about it. I'm pretty sure it's selling very well actually from the last thing I saw. I know the Japanese because you know how they do weekly sales. It was up there for them, so I imagine it's doing well. Then again, Street Fighter V is selling well in Japan too. What a
Uh-oh.
shock! But that's a different discussion again, anyway. Yeah, I think Nintendo they're in position to be fine. They just have to not fuck up, basically, and that's asking a lot from them. So yeah,
All right, so all I'm going to say about this is that I do know that the 3DS still has a couple of great games. The Fire Emblem Fates, I've heard nothing but positive things about that. Um, Project, the game you mentioned, Project Cross Zone. Um, yeah, I've heard good things about that as well. I'm not quite sure if I will be picking up a 3DS. However, I more than likely will give Nintendo a chance with their NX system if it is supposed to come out later this year, as they're rumored, and if that Zelda game is the launch title, which is another rumor that also came out the same time this story came out. So we'll see what happens. But I don't think the 3DS is going to be irrelevant quite yet. Yeah, just like what Michael A says, unless Nintendo decides to make it irrelevant, what they do with NX. But we'll see. So, any final thoughts? All right, let's go to the next topic. This is going to be a brief one because we've already discussed some of this last week. So it came out this week that Sony is actually having a PlayStation VR event at March 15th during GDC. Um, and, of course, what is supposed to happen at this event is that they're going to I guess, talk about the pricing, so on and so forth, and then they're going to give people a couple of hours to play the game. So, Gary A. poses the question of will they be able to do a better job of selling the world on VR this time around? We already know it's hard for them to show this stuff because they had struggles at the PlayStation Experience in December. But this is just a question of can they sell the world on VR? And are they for sure going to announce a release date and price at this particular event? So, what do you think, Michael A?
Um, I think they can. I honestly think they can. They're in a position to. It depends really for them on how they price it and what they have to show. To like actually lure people in and say, okay, I need to give that a try from day one. Because me, I've always been someone that's more welcoming to new ways for us to interact with the software that we're playing. I think that the controller, the fight stick, all of that, keyboard and mouse, those are mainstays. They're not going anywhere, but I would like to see additions to that to make gaming more accessible to people who might have physical ailments or just to give me new experiences that I possibly can't have due to the limitations of interacting with that. I think virtual reality and augmented reality, VR and AR, I think that's going to help a lot. So I think Sony is in a prime position right now in the console market to do that. They're in a position in the forefront because of the console lead they have and the effort that they've already shown to people that they're putting in VR. So I'm interested in what's going to happen at that event. Will they give us the official cost and release? I think we'll get a. I think we'll. There's a difference between what I think will happen and what should happen. What I think will happen, no, I don't think they're gonna give those. I think they'll give us a TBA for release, and they said that they'll announce the cost at a later date. What I think they should do, I think they should come out and release a cost and a date now. But the cost is more important because if they're charging anything over $300 for that thing on PSN or on the PlayStation 4, they've got to get that out now. Because you know how whenever you release the cost of something, especially when it's high up there, people complain that it's too expensive. You got to let those naysayers complain for that first month or two now. Let that go away, right? Then you start showing the software that's coming, right? Shut those haters up. Shut them up real quick. Oh, there's actually software that makes it worth it. Oh, we see that it's this much because VR is expensive. It's brand new technology. Brand new technology expensive. I mean, look what Oculus Rift went through when they announced their pricing. People are still complaining that that's too expensive, but it's kind of quieted down compared to when it was first announced because people are starting to move on. They're starting to see more and more from it. So I think Sony's going to have to go through that as well. I wonder what they're going to price it though, because I'm hearing rumors that it's going to be like 450 basically, which isn't crazy, but I know how people are, especially console gamers are the most entitled gamers on any platform or any demographic. They expect everything to be given to them for free or as close to free as possible, even when it's extremely expensive. And PSVR is no different. Like, if that thing comes out and it's over $300, they're gonna complain. They're gonna complain if it's 300, but if it's over 300, man, it's all this. It's another gimmick. Oh, they're trying to get in there. Like, no, it's so they need to take that into account and just move past that. But mainly just show this. I mean, I don't know that there's a whole lot of software they have that's up and running that's gonna really show what PSVR is capable of. But if they have anything, do it. It can't just be an event where they show a bunch of tech demos. I don't want to see another rubber duck demo, Sony. I don't want to see that shit again. All right? I'm tired of seeing ducks at your fucking hardware reveals. Like, cut that out. Show me some game. Show me some. Even if it's not a brand new IP or game, you could show me like a VR interaction that you have planned via update for an existing title. So you could show us something where like, I don't know, Infamous where there's like a segment of the game that we're playing, but we're playing it with using PSVR or something like that, or a game like Amplitude that just came out last month. Amplitude would work amazing with virtual reality. I mean, the game is it's like those games that Harmonix makes. It almost feels like you aren't as in depth, you're not as embedded into the game experience as you could be because of the lack of VR. So they could show us something like that at the event. That would be amazing. So I'm actually pretty excited. I want to see what they're gonna do. This is like the first time I've been excited for a Sony event since ever. So yeah, I'm pretty hyped. We'll see what happens.
Cool. How about you, Gary?
Oh, my bad, I was muted. Yeah, I think it's important that, Sony does impress with PlayStation VR because, although the Oculus is already out there, there's people excited about it. It's only people who are going to have PCs that can run it, or people who are willing to buy a PC to experience Oculus. But with the PS4, there's like millions of people. There's like over 20 million people also who already have the system. So, that's 20 million potentials right there. So it's important that they do make a good impression for VR to continue and catch on and not just be a fad. So hopefully they do manage to do that and they do a better job than they did at the PlayStation experience. And as far as the price, I think they're in a good position with the price because I'm pretty sure it will be cheaper than the Oculus. And because the Oculus has already announced that they're going to be $600, anything that, any price that's lower is automatically going to be seen as better. People are going to be like, okay, it's cheaper. We already got PS4s, so why not try it out? And I think, the $400 mark is acceptable, the $400 to $500 mark. I think that's kind of acceptable for what it is, given that the technology is kind of expensive. But will people see it that way? Will they see it as reasonable? I don't know. But I do think that's reasonable. But I'm hoping it will be more towards the $300 mark. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, I mean, hopefully Sony does a better job than they did at PlayStation Experience because that was horrible what they showed, those demos. But I understand VR is hard to show the world. It's hard to sell the world on VR because you have to experience it first to understand. And there's no way for you to hand out VR headsets to everybody in the world so they can try it out. So it's a difficult thing, but I think they can do it. And if they're having a whole event on just that, they must have figured out a way they can do it. So yeah.
Well, let me add that I agree with everything that you both said. I actually do plan to be at that event, so I'll let you know for sure, if I'm sold on PlayStation VR after I have had a chance to try it out. But I do think the main thing is the software. That's all. Just show me some great software that works on the device, and I'm sold. That's all they need to sell, because the device already looks good. But yeah, the software, that's part of the experience. So we'll see whether or not they're able to fulfill that. But I'm pretty sure they have something planned, like you said, because this event is it's by invite only. It's very exclusive, and people are going to have a lot of time to actually try out the device. So we'll see how it is. But I think that's it for VR talk for this week. We talked about a lot of VR stuff last week as well, so that's it for that. Let's jump to the final topic, which is no doubt the biggest topic, the biggest batch of news that came out this week. Pretty much, Rockstar and the parent company 2K said that they're going to have a huge presence at E3 this year. Now, when they had an interview, the CEO, I believe his name is Stratus Nelzik, he pretty much says that 2015 wasn't a big year for 2K. the main things he talked about was that they had Evolve, which I spoke very highly of that game when it came out last year. And they had some DLC for not DLC, I guess some more GTA Online content on PC because if they released GTA 5 on PC last April, and then of course they just had their regular releases they have every year like NBA 2K and WWE 2K16. So when he says that they're going to have a big year, a lot of people have already thought that meant, well, it's going to be massive, massive things that are going to happen. So I was going to ask you guys exactly which titles you think it is that they're referring to, or how can they have a better year versus this year. One thing I do want to say before you guys answer, I do know that Mafia is a game that is coming out this year. That's pretty much the only game that I know that they have announced that is coming out this year. Of course, there will be another NBA 2K. There'll be another WWE game, obviously. But yeah, I just wanted to ask you guys: do you think it's out of the realm of possibility that we may get an announcement about Rockstar's next game, or what do you guys think we're going to hear at E3 2016? Go first, Gary.
Yeah, I do think Red Dead Redemption is a big possibility, just because that game has been it was very well received when it first came out, so it wouldn't be far-fetched for them to make another one. I think they could make bank of that, and it's pretty much like releasing another GTA, like this big open world. Of course, it's got that Western theme to it, but it's pretty much Grand Theft Auto in a Western setting. So it's going to do well regardless, because that's how people recognize that game, as GTA with cowboys, pretty much. So if they do that, I think that could be really big for them, especially if it has big online mode, kind of like GTA Online. And if they manage to make it a lot better than GTA Online, then that would be good for them too. That's another cash cow they got right there. So yeah, I think that makes sense. Me personally, I would like to finally see the Agent game that they was gonna make. The game that was supposed to be a PS3 exclusive. Like, what happened to that game? Like, so I would like to see that, because it seemed like an interesting concept. So I'd like to finally see it, but it's probably not going to be that. It's probably going to be because Red Dead is the safer option because that game was already so well received. So that would be my guess for what we'll see at E3.
That's a good guess. Agent. I don't know. I don't know what happened to Agent. Agent isn't completely dead, but they do have to give an update on that sooner or later. How about you, Michael A? What do you think we're going to hear at E3 as far as 2K is concerned?
I mean, Rockstar wise, that's a good question. They'll probably see. I mean, they do need something this gen. Like, the only thing they've done this gen is just re-release GTA 5, which of course has made them tons of money. But in terms of like an IP that's come out with this gen's hardware and its focus, I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm not a big Red Dead fan just because I don't like that setting. But I mean, it wasn't a bad game at all. So I could understand fans liking it, and I'd honestly see that as being a huge announcement for them if they were to announce a sequel to that. Personally, I mean, I'd be open for them to come up with a new IP. That'd be cool. I'm always welcome to new IPs. Or if they want to go back, they want to bring back, they can go back and try and fix like one of the few blemishes on their record and release a new State of Emergency and actually make it a good game this time. I mean, nobody would see it coming. But, I remember that game because I was all aboard the hype train for that and bought it, and it was trash. So they they could rectify that. I'd give them a shot. I'd give it another shot. You know what I mean? It's Rockstar. Honestly, they have a rapport right now with me where they don't do anything that's not quality anymore. Everything they've put out, even if it didn't immediately resonate with me, it's quality. Like, I really, 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 really love GTA 5. The campaign for that was amazing. So yeah, honestly, I don't know. I'd be open to pretty much anything. So we'll see. It's interesting though. It's really cool to see a lot of these companies announcing their presence at E3 to let us know that they have stuff coming. And I like the idea of them having their own shows, because then I want us to get to a point where E3 isn't this stupid competition between just Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft. I want us to get to a point where people are smart enough to start having their own shows, and they don't even have to go to E3. They could just use that week and broadcast it from wherever they want to. So that would open if anything, that would open the market for E3 to have smaller developers that don't have the money to pay for all that kind of stuff to show off their stuff as well during that week. So we'll see. But yeah, Rockstar. I mean, 2K period. Like Rich said, we know that the 2K 17 is coming. We know that unfortunately another wrestling game that's going to be mediocre is coming. These are cash grabs from them. They make money for them, so they're definitely coming. But I just want to know if they have anything else coming. Like, are we going to get another game? Are we going to get another Darkness? That was a solid game that a lot of people slept on. Maybe we get a new entry to that. Who knows? It'd be cool.
I'm 100% on board with some more Darkness if they ever did go down that road. But I know just about every E3 that I've been to in the past. E3, 2K has just a regular booth just like anybody else, and then they also do have behind closed doors meetings of other things that you don't even see on the floor. So, because I recall the last time I went there, NBA 2K wasn't there unless you had like a behind closed door meeting to see that. Same thing for the WWE game. So I would like to hope that when they say they're going to have a big presence this year, they're actually going to open up these opportunities to show you everything that they have or are working on, and not just the stuff that you already know about. Because, of course, Borderlands, the pre-sequel, that was a big game. They've talked about it past E3s. Battleborn is coming out before E3, so I don't know if they're going to be talking too much about that at E3. But it's just that, yeah, I would like to hope that they will open up the show. If they have a show, whatever the hell they have, they need to open it up and show us more of what they're working on, not just the stuff you already know. Because if you want to make a statement or show that you're having a big presence, well, it starts with showing people more of your content. So we'll see what happens. But as for Rockstar, I think you already know Red Dead Redemption 2, hell yes. I want to hear that announcement. Now, I'm fully aware that if they announce it, that doesn't mean the game is coming out this year, because Rockstar takes a lot of time to create these games. And I appreciate the time taken, so it doesn't need to come out this year. If it is announced, though, awesome. But I guess we'll find out over the next couple of months, provided that there's nothing that leaks out before any of these shows happen, because that has happened in the past. So, but any final thoughts on this topic before we wrap up?
No, nothing from me. I'm just gonna wait and see.
Yeah, wait and see. That's what we'll all do. All right, so that concludes this week's show. I'm gonna let you guys give a shout out. I do have a message at the end I want to give, but we thank you all for listening to the show. Any final words or shout outs? How about you go first, Gary?
Yeah, same as always. Shouts to all the listeners, all the supporters. Especially the Patreon supporters. M. Collins, Gority. Shouts to you guys. We will be running another competition in a few weeks' time, and you'll be able to win. I forget which one won the poll, but you're going to be able to win one of the big games that are coming out in March, April. Well, April it will be. Yeah, so look out for that, and do remember that if you are a Patreon supporter, you automatically get 5 entries into each competition, which makes your chance of winning even greater than everybody else. So it's worth supporting, and your support helps us create better content as well. We can get better tools for creating videos and all that sort of thing. So yeah, thanks to you guys, and shouts to the person I went back and forth with in the comments last week, Him Deal, I think his name is. Shouts to him. I think we ended up pretty much agreeing. Like, I don't know where the disagreement came from, to be honest, because we kind of agreed on a lot of things. It's just the way things are worded, and he kind of put words in my mouth as well. Like, because the thing is, like last week, I was saying that Microsoft is in a great position to build the Xbox Live service, into a service model that will be on the level of Steam. So that's like their future goal at the moment. So that's all I was saying. But somehow me saying that was also saying that Sony's service is crap, or that Sony has no chance of creating an equal service to Xbox Live. So by me saying something positive about Microsoft, I'm automatically saying something bad about Sony, it looks like, unfortunately. But hey, that's the way it goes. That's the way the cookie crumbles. But shout outs to that guy, and everybody else. That's it.
Yeah. How about you, Michael A? Any shout outs?
I want to shout out the coalition staff, the Throwdown podcast, Knights of the Round Table, all the cats that I rock with. The PSN heads like Riku, Jamaican, and whatnot that I hang with. The people I play with on Xbox, all the fans, people who interact with me on Twitter, like Wesley and whatnot, and or interact with me on PSN or Xbox Live or my stream, or whatever. Thanks for the support. Thanks for tuning in. Keep supporting the coalition, man. We're doing things, man. I guess that's not really descriptive. We're doing bigger things, I should say. Yeah, that's better. And of course, this man Cap, as always, who I haven't heard from for a minute. Hope he's doing well. He's always making moves, like the OGs from the site, obviously. So yeah, that's about it.
That's cool. Once again, I would like to thank the supporters as well, that have continued to support the site, the fans that are watching, whether they're watching live or you're watching it at any time. We do greatly appreciate it. Feel free to let us know what you think of the show, topics you may want us to discuss in the future. And I'm going to take this time right now because I do want to put this message out there. This has already been said on the Throwdown, but I definitely would like to just give some attention to. We do have somebody on staff, Brett Murdoch, his wife Rachel, is battling cancer right now. They've already put up a post for people to donate, and I just wanted to let those know, if you haven't known already, to please do consider donating something, as she's in the process of getting chemotherapy for a second time. It's a very serious issue because a lot of things have elevated since the last time. We do care about Rachel. We care about everybody here on staff, so we definitely wanted to get the word out there for those that may be interested in donating. So definitely consider that, and we will have a link to this in our post as well. So just want to put that out there. We do pray for that she is able to get through this, has a speedy recovery, and then of course that Brett is also doing well throughout all of this. But continue to definitely, if you were considering supporting the site this week for whatever reason, put that money towards that instead right now, because this is a very serious thing. So I just wanted to put that out there for those that, if they didn't watch the Throwdown or heard that announcement yet, definitely consider that. And again, we'll have the link in this post if you want to get some more information about it. So once again, we thank you all for listening. I hope you have a great week. We'll talk to you all next week.